Hey Aries, welcome to your November reading. I am using the Goddess, the Gods, and the Guardians as your keywords at the top. Ooh, you've got some new ones. So you're the first of the fire signs and the first reading that I'm doing today. I'm using 4 keywords, then we're doing 2 columns like I have used the previous months. Yeah, so you're the first fire sign. It's looking like you have slightly different cards than the water signs. All the water signs are kind of looking to be the same sort of energy, so I'm liking that we're seeing a little difference. I don't know, I just like it when it's a little bit different too. I'm using my Archangel Michael cards as the main deck. To me, this is the energy in the air at the moment. Archangel Michael is a very protective energy, a protective archangel, and so to me this indicated the fact that I was drawn to use him. I've been drawn to him. I needed to read him for myself using these cards because that's what I was drawn to him for, and I thought, you know, it feels right to use them. It feels like no matter what we're going through right now, we're all kind of protected and guided. Like if you're here, we're guided and protected for this moment, no matter what we are going through in this transition, because this year is just pushing us to our limits and pushing us towards something, a much better way of life. And that's what I feel for this month of November, is that we are protected during this time, no matter where we're at in that journey. Okay, so the first card we have Dryad. Protect your energy. So definitely protection, something for you Aries. Interesting. Immediately, as I just said that, I kind of get this sense of socialness, of it being draining. I feel like you are kind of not being aware of your own energy with all the endeavors that you're choosing for yourself with this. To me, as I'm looking at this imagery, it's like this is you sitting there kind of optimistic about, so I feel like when people say, oh, we should do this, or hey, I've invited you to this, or you're like, I'm going to go do this, whichever one of those applies to you, or all 3, because I'm getting a sense of it being quite a time. You're sitting there optimistically thinking, I can handle this, I can do this, it's going to be fun, and I get these little lights all around you, but I do feel like it is kind of draining, so remember to protect that energy. Let me see what else I get from this. I do feel like this is something you're learning. She's giving me this energy of discovery, and I feel like through all of these moments, so with the social activities, with you pushing yourself to your boundaries in certain ways, it may be perhaps you've always been this way and it was never really a problem, but now it's becoming one. It's kind of like really shining light on things that have to change in order for you to kind of live a little bit more balanced in your day-to-day life, because I get this sense of it just never really having a balance, and this is the time where, again, 2022, I started off this year saying this is the year of balance, and that's the feel I feel right now. The light's really shining on that of what is imbalanced for you, and it really does give me the sense of, I mean, Aries, you are the baby of the star signs, right? You are the one that represents, you know, the full card of taking risks, jumping in, you know, it's all about having a good time. And I feel like this is the discovery for you in learning this journey, is that perhaps you're not having as good a time as what you once were, because it's no longer working in the way that it should. Perhaps you're just giving your energy a little bit too freely to others, to certain things that are draining you, and instead of you checking in and protecting that, you're just like, it'll be fine, it'll work out. It won't if you don't know anything about it, you know. Now, first off, forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. So this is the energy you are in with that. I feel like with this, it's kind of like sometimes when someone tells us something and we get kind of defensive, I get this kind of sense, but it's like with yourself. So forgive yourself, you've done nothing wrong. It's basically saying, like, stop with this kind of self negative talk. Don't go straight to that, yeah, I do, but, and like, you know, talking down, feeling guilty. And again, I do get this sense of perhaps feeling guilty by you taking care of your needs, of you feeling guilty on others. So, like, I will use that social feeling that I'm going with. It's like sometimes we are overly sociable because others put pressure, and you don't feel like you can assert your boundaries. So in this way, I feel like you feel guilty in that way. And again, then I feel like you may kind of, this is like an insecurity type thing, of beating yourself up for even feeling guilty or feeling bad for not being able to be that for everybody. Like, you are one person, and you need to make sure you're attending to your own garden first before you attend to other people's gardens. So keep that in mind. This card is basically saying see your innocence within your situations, and nurture your needs. It is a very nurturing card as well. I'll show you the imagery. So there's an angel, and he's carrying a goat and a baby, and I really do feel like this gives me great nurture, because, like, you know, the goat provides nourishment, it provides companionship as well, and all these things. Like, if you tend to that goat and give it loving care, compassion, feed it well, it will bring you great harvest, you know, and lots of goat milk, cheese, all this kind of stuff. Okay, Aries, sorry, I got cut off and I'm not sure where I got cut off with. So forgive yourself if you've done nothing wrong. Just a quick recap, because in case it's cut off in a really annoying place. So basically, nurture and nourish yourself, and realize that you are innocent within your situation. This card really does represent you being innocent in this, but it can represent that feel of guilt for something that you're not guilty of, but it's something we place upon ourselves. So be kind to yourself. The next card is guarded and protected. Guarded and protected, again, is what I was just saying with these Archangel Michael cards. It's saying you are protected during this time. But it is also a card, just like that Dryad, about protecting your energy and making sure that you are protecting your energy when you're out. Ways of doing this can be like with crystal energy. It can be literally putting up a shield of yourself, or just taking care of your basic needs. If you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed in a situation, get out. There is no reason for you to feel like you have to stay in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, or stay in a situation that is not pleasant for you at all. You don't have to. Like, really, ideally, there's no scenario where we do actually have to. We self-impose restrictions upon ourselves, and I'm really getting this with you, Aries. I feel like you do self-impose certain social niceties onto yourself, and I do feel like it is actually affecting your life here, because it just feels as though you are exhausted by this, whatever this situation is. And again, I get the sense of you hoping, you know, like, it's like having faith that things will be fine, it'll be alright, it'll work out, it'll be good. It's like brushing things under a rug and kind of suppressing, and I want you to be aware of that. My son's playing on the floor. I've set him up with some water and some cars. So yeah, I feel like you're brushing it under a rug. I want you to realize that suppressing something is actually very toxic to your health, very toxic to you and other people within that circle as well. You know, if you're suppressing something and other people are crossing boundaries, they're going to continue to do that, which then creates a toxic relationship between the two of you, or 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you. So make sure you're checking in with that. And the next one, Earth Magic. Oh, I like this card. Epona. I am really terrible with the names of these cards. I apologise to the gods, goddess, and guardians if I get their names wrong. So there's a horse in this and that. I do get this sense of loyalty. Careful cat. With the Earth Magic is really healing. I would say getting out in nature could be really good for you, going for a walk, but I feel like there's kind of a friend, somebody who's very earthy, or it could be a partner as well, just somebody who's really loyal, because to me the horse is the representation of someone who's loyal, who helps support you and carry you through hard things. I actually want to say, like, realize that there's that person there. Have a think on who that could be for you and what that means for you. This person represents you in my mind, how I'm reading this and seeing it. Leaning back on this person, leaning on them, knowing that they can support you, which is really great. And I feel like here there are vines twirling around her arm, and this is something that you're growing. It's growing off of you, and the arm is up against the person. I feel like by nourishing that connection as well, and showing gratitude in the way that is true to you specifically. I don't know why I'm reading it this way, it's how it's coming through. I feel like that is a really good exchange of energy. So we're moving on from protecting our energy to something that's really good for our energy. So I'm loving that, Aries. It's kind of like it's growth already in the reading, and that's what we want to see. There's a lot of positives here, and something to do with a gift as well. I feel like a gift makes you happy, makes you feel appreciated as well. cool, loving that. I do get this sense of growing something with this person, whether it be friendship, whether it be love, something just solid and foundational is growing here. Loving that. Okay, first card. It's in reverse, pay attention. This situation is already resolved. This is a you're on the right path card. Things are going the way they should do. So to me, this is sort of saying what is building up for you, what you're creating right now. It's in there. It's behind the works, and it's destined to be this way. When I say destined, I mean as though, you know, you're in this moment, everything that's working up, so all of this pre-card that we just said, that is there for a purpose. All that you're going through, that feeling of though, you know, you're being too social, you're sharing too much of this and giving too much of yourself away. It's happening for a reason, and I feel like it's beneficial towards this connection here, for you to be realizing this previous column, which is bringing you towards this deeper connection further forward. In the card, this situation is already resolved. Again, if this is a partner, I feel like this could be a connection that was meant to happen, that's sort of for a purpose. The angel on the card and the little person, they are really hugging, and that's what's kind of bringing me. It's like a connection that's tight and kind of solid, something where there's growth there personally for you, which is really cool. Make a commitment. So I would say relationship wise, commit to this person. I would say if you are starting or meeting someone new, and you know there's that connection of feeling as though you can rely on them, feeling this root of kind of like I've known them all your life kind of sense is what it feels for me. Make a commitment to that person. This is saying go for it. Take a risk, because I get that full sense of card over here. I've taken that risk as well. I'm going to apply that to this column of the energies that you're working with. And it is a time for you to make a commitment. So decide what you want and go for it. That's when I'm going to say this for you. You have a really great reading. I just had a little quick peek at future ones, just make sure we're on this right sort of path here. And you have all cards saying favorable outcomes. This is the right path. You literally have, you're on the right path. You have favorable outcome. You have this situation's already resolved. Like everything is going great for you, Aries, like in the right direction. It's just literally there's things here that are changing within you. And if there is any level of discomfort for you, that's the key. Obviously you're having readings when you go to a reader or you're listening to a reader, there's something there that you need to hear. There's something you know that you need to hear, because I feel like all I ever do is, and it's what tarot does, what cards do, is tell us what we already know. It triggers things in us because we are already intuitive beings. Some people just know how to read that a little bit more clearly, or sometimes you need somebody else to be able to express it in a way that makes sense to you in the end. And that's what I feel like here for you, is like there's things niggling at you, but you needed to be made aware of it to see it. And that's what I sensed here. Over here, I think I said something like that. I don't know if I got cut off before I said it. Something along the lines of you're becoming more and more aware of how it's making you feel. I want you to pay attention to that. But anyway, back to this make a commitment. I definitely get this sense of you making a choice to commit to something that it makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you feel, I'm going to say it makes you feel seen is what I feel like with that. But it makes you feel good overall. Next we have Artemis. I don't know if I say her name right, but that's how I read it. This has come up for everybody actually that I've done so far. Brave spirit. This is a time when we are literally the leaders of our lives. We are creating something for ourselves that we're choosing. This is our choice. This has not been given to us. This has not been, like happened upon us. This is from us putting in the work. Now, she is brave. This is the Fool card, what I was saying about taking good risks. To me, that's what she's doing. She's taking a risk to go kind of hunt. We have this loyal character here. This is how I read this card. Well, actually, I read it for you and one other. It's kind of like there's someone, a real supportive role with you that's guiding you along this way as well. To me, that could represent the person who's the horse, but it's just support. So it could even be a guide and something like that. Now, she's holding her tools. She is the one that will feed herself. She is the one that can take care of all the needs while she embarks on this journey, right? That's you. That's representation of you. But you are divinely guided during this time, and I feel like you can trust in yourself, and that's what this is saying, is trust you. It doesn't matter about everybody else. I feel like for you specifically, Aries, stop worrying about other people, because I do get this great sense that a lot of your drive is just worrying about other people. And I feel like that is hindering something in here that's getting you that loyal connection to the full extent as well, weirdly. You and your loved ones are safe. Sorry, I did just spit. I don't know if you saw that. You and your loved ones are safe. This is a card that says, it is a card that will say, you know, you've got a guide with you, which could be what I'm feeling here. This can be a passed over loved one. Keep that in mind. It is the time of year where that is, you know, the veil is thin in the northern hemisphere, etc. But it is also a card that, again, signifies you are protected. And it is just really emphasized that the energies in the air for November is that we're all protected in what we're going through. Loving that. We're all safe. We can do what we want. Which means you can take risks. Like, it's kind of like, for me, I'm not a risk taker because, to an extent, because taking risks, you know, if I can't see an outcome, I'm like, oh, this could go, like, I'm an overthinker, so I'll think of all the possibilities, so it's too risky. But with this, it's like you can take whatever risk right now and you're protected because you've done all the work to get to this point. It's now just stepping forward and making it work towards your goals. Again, she is wielding her sword. This is not an attacking thing. She's just raised her sword behind her. It's all glistening. I think the lighting here is pretty terrible. But yeah, it's behind her head and she's just holding it there. To me, it's, you know, you've got all the tools that you need to, and I'm actually envisioning them just cutting the path in front of her. And actually there's a snake here, which again, these are indicating the wisdom of kind of good things ahead as well. It's like taking a wiser way. And I feel like for you, this is what you're crafting. You're kind of taking the path which is much more suited for you, and you're knowing of that now. And I feel like you have probably done the opposite in the past as I say this, because I feel like now you're just choosing to take the route which is wiser, because it's more who you are supposed to be, not who you're suppressing to be. I kind of got that sense over here with a commitment or something. Again, reversed, it wants you to know that there's a favourable outcome. This works really well for you to take this risk. It's saying you're on the right path, because that's what that card means as well. It says that this is, we have the scales here for balance. Sorry, Aries, I have a tickly throat now. So yeah, the balance. So Libra as well. We're just leaving Libra energy. But this is, to me, saying that this is going to create a balance in your life. By balance, I feel like as though actually it's leading you towards a more happier, because it's not like bringing things into balance in a sense of you're going to, like a weight, you know, like, oh, we're going to bring things back up to balance in that sense. To me, it's a balance in the sense of a yin-yang, living your truth and things kind of falling into place in that way. I hope that makes sense. It's just coming through as though like this really is the path that you are being pulled towards. I like what I'm doing with my hands. I have no idea why I'm doing this, but I feel like I'm pulling something from my heart center. It's like, put your heart into it, go. I want to send you that way. Anyone that's had readings with me before, you'll know, like I say, when I'm doing a reading, things that I start doing or saying, it's just relevant to the reading. And it's like I have to realize what I'm doing to kind of, you know, read that for you. So definitely pulling from the heart center. Follow your heart. Next we have in reverse as well. Pay attention to this. Okay. High Priest of Atlantis. Oh, I love him. He's so cool. This is chakra healing. So that makes sense. Perhaps there's something in your heart chakra that needs healing. I do feel like perhaps there's something in here for you to let go of. And I feel like perhaps like this, I'm going back to this commitment actually with that, it's a diagonal to this, and knowing that your loved ones are safe. Like this is the path here. We have to make a commitment. You and your loved ones are safe, and then we have this chakra healing. And I feel like past events have been something that's knocked your heart chakra off its axis in the sense of terms of relations to relationships, and perhaps there's something here that needs to be fixed. And I feel like realizing that every single person you've been with have never been the same. Like sometimes I feel like if we go through similar experiences with exes, we brand that as being like everybody does this. For example, let's say all our exes cheated on us, right? However, every single relationship was not the same. They didn't cheat on you the same, all that kind of thing, because that's a very rare thing to happen. It's like everybody has their own stuff. Right, so you need to stop holding on to that as though everyone's the same, this is how it's going to go, and that's then made you shield your heart, and you cannot commit fully to anyone and give yourself. And that's not healthy to have in a relationship. If, again, suppressing is coming to me with this, so be aware of what you are suppressing and why. That's how you begin to heal. Now, we're in Scorpio season. This is shadow work season. So these things may well come up, and it's the best time to really, truly dive in deep, see to it, and then fix it, and take the risks to choose better for yourself. And that starts with this chakra healing. And this is what I feel. I feel like this is just happening for you anyway. I do get this force of like, you've been given this gift of connection in order to heal those wounds, which is really cool. I do get this, like I'm being drawn to his root chakra, so I feel like this is actually the way to heal your deepest kind of wounds, which is really cool. And again, that's so funny. So in Revertium, pay attention, focus upon divine and perfect health. So it is saying you do need to tend to something. Now, so obviously see a doctor if there's anything wrong, or if you feel as though there's something. But to me, the way that I'm getting this through is I do feel like it's a spiritual healing kind of time. He's just spilt the water everywhere. It's okay. It's on the towel. So to me, this is not a health scare, but do see a doctor if you have any issues, because this would be saying it's time to make sure you go into your checkups, get the help you need. And I always, as much as I believe in natural therapies, I feel like modern medicine and natural therapies should go hand in hand. They should be working together. They should be part of the same system, really. But the world is fudged in that area. So I feel like doing what you need to do that's going to focus on your healing. This over here, protecting your energy. This over here is telling you how. Fix it. Focus on what's going to make you feel better. Stop worrying about anyone else. And I feel like the way of looking at that, because I'm going to go back to that, be careful. So let's say our friends are always inviting us out all the time. And it's like, I just saw you yesterday and I love that you want to see me, but I don't want to tonight. I'm so tired. Like, as an introvert, that is how it would get for me. If someone wants to see me all the time, I'll just be like, ugh. Like, the only person I want to see all the time is like a partner that I'm with, like friends. As much as I love them so much, too much is too much. Especially as a mom, you just want downtime. Anyway, but you feel bad because they're your best friends. You've known them your whole life, or they've been through this with you. They helped you. That doesn't mean anything. Like, they're becoming a toxic friendship to you, and they don't know it. They don't want to. It's like, this is again where I'm talking about is you creating this and not having boundaries. Boundaries are good in all relationships and friendships. And I feel like that's something you need to realize, because I guess the way of looking at it could be to sort of see it from a perspective, if it was the other way around. Surely you'd want your friend to tell you, like, oh, sorry, I just need some downtime and feel a little bit whatever. Yeah? So I feel like this is how this feels to me. It's really time for you to take upon your own energy and work on that and what you need to feel better. But you're on the right path. And this again is favorable outcome card, and it was right next to favorable outcome, so things are going well. So even if this feels tough and this is difficult for you, you're being given all of this for a reason. You're being made to be overwhelmed because you need to see it. And if you are just left to your own devices and just like, oh, I'll just wing it, it's not going to get any better. It's not going to be fixed. And that's what this year has done. It's put all these roadblocks in our way to make us see things. Just as 2020 taught the whole world that we need to slow down, the whole world that we need better hygiene, the whole world that we're all connected and it doesn't matter where you live, what kind of level of standards you live at, you're all at risk, right? So it's seeing the signs and living with that. I do feel as though you don't feel 100% positive in the signs that you see, or that you believe in signs. I'm getting a little bit of resistance from you, and this is where I feel like with the defensiveness. So it really just come down to, you're exhausted, let's fix that. And it's your own inner work. You've got all the tools you need, and you have the support right with you, by your side, in the forms of people that you love and care for. So do the work. And I do get the sense, again, that it is just naturally occurring for you. I feel like you are healing. And that's a really good thing. That means you are doing the work. So yeah, loving that for you, Aries. Very interesting. But yeah, Scorpio season is all about shadow work. It's the best time to be channeling, working on yourself, seeing your shadows, and realizing that you are this compassionate, loving, carefree, it's in there person. Like, we all have that inside of us. And yeah, access it and nurture it. And see yourself for the beautiful person you are as well. I definitely feel this sense of you would criticize yourself before you said something good about yourself. I want you to check on that. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Actually, just as I was about to go, health-wise, think of what you're eating, work on that side of things is what I want to say, because I was about to come off and that just popped into my mind. So be aware if you're eating too much of the wrong things or in excess. Yeah, thank you, Aries. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next month. Please leave a comment if you have any questions or just want to chat. Thank you. Bye.